please.
Greetings and salutations. This is Cage's Kiss, the ultimate Cage cast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life. We also try to glean whatever kernels of wisdom we can from his character that week. My name is Linda, but you can call me the Cheese.
I'm Donnie, and I'm your hummingbird.
I'm Adrian. You can call me whatever you want to, Drill Sergeant.
Today, we're discussing the movie that has a bunch of hot, sweaty, bad boys chained up and rubbing all up on each other.
It do
touching
get a
each
taste of the
other.
vapors.
I do declare, working up a sweat, being bad in the air. It's kind of...
My panties was like a wilting flower left out in the hot summer.
Yeah, what do you want to bet that whole plane just smelled like ass crack?
It's a good indication.
So I couldn't help but notice that although this movie is called Con Air, there was not one single hairdryer in the whole thing.
Yeah, and also there was no
you know,
con jobs.
They're not being true to their source material at all.
Yeah.
God damn it. I hate you guys.
Oh, renders.
So, yeah, this movie was made in 1997.
It sure the fuck was.
Directed by Simon West. In fact, it was the first movie that he directed, but he directed multiple commercials and
the music video for Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
Never Gonna Let You Know.
Oh, that's what that is?
We're
I haven't heard that since the 80s.
Yes, and it was written by Scott Rosenberg, who
It sure the fuck was.
A.K.A. Scott Baio.
AKA
Luckily,
the dude who
no.
wrote Kangaroo Jack and Venom.
Oh God, Venom. The best song ever. But apparently Scott Rosenberg was friends with John Cusack and Steve Buscemi, and he wrote their parts specifically for them.
That explains why Rosenberg is one of the 4 writers on High Fidelity.
Oh.
And the 3 other writers explain why that movie's still good.
Oh, John Cusack, you try.
Yeah, Cusack is not a big fan of this one.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
He refuses to be interviewed about it.
Wow.
Yeah, and Malkovich doesn't like it that much better either.
Cyrus the Virus didn't like this?
What?
What
He
the
was also
hell?
like the 12th choice for it, by the way.
Wow.
Yes. But,
They were offering it to people like Robert De Niro, and Mickey Rourke very nearly got it by
No
whipping out a
kidding.
knife while he was auditioning.
Huh, that would have been
Yeah.
interesting.
This is. I know that Face Off comes at the end, but this is another one that should have been a Van Damme movie.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
At least
But
then we
we'll
could
get
have been
into
entertained.
that.
Yeah, I
We'll
just
get
want
into that with Face Off.
I just want to get
What?
this out of my system as quickly as possible because this movie has left mental scars ever since high school.
Okay. Well,
To get Cyrus the Virus out?
While we're shitting stuff out of our systems here. So, last week on The Rock, I discussed the producer team Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea for this movie actually dated back to when Don Simpson was still alive, before his cocaine-induced heart attack. And Jerry Bruckheimer was like, oh, it's this really neat idea. These cons, and they take over a plane, and we call it Con Air. And Don Simpson's like, fuck you. That is the worst thing I've ever heard.
It's a movie about nothing.
That's what this movie needed, was Larry David to write it.
Yeah, so this was actually supposed to be the first time that Jerry Bruckheimer was going to produce without Don Simpson. And,
Yeah, they were going to split over this movie.
Yeah, and they ended up splitting anyway, so...
Of the 2 of them, Don Simpson went on to do better things.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. I this is why I don't believe in a hell, because I can't believe in a hell because I know that we would be going there.
Yeah.
For saying shit like that.
Okay, so on the bright side, it's not by Michael Bay, so the president doesn't show up.
True.
Thankfully.
Because the president shows up in The Rock and Armageddon and Pearl Harbor, and for all I know, in Transformers movies.
It's also it does, yeah. There's no filleting the Army, the Navy, and the American flag. So
although wasn't it adorable how this movie opens with that montage when Cage is getting out of the Army Rangers, and the guy's like, "All right, Army Rangers, you graduated. You probably know a lot about being Army Rangers at this point in time, but I'm going to explain to you that there's just nothing better in this whole wide world than an Army Ranger. They're like better than the Marines and the Navy SEALs. Like they've been around since like I don't know 1600 or some shit. They're just like the best, son. Never leave a man behind. How do
I live without you? To know.
Fucking theme song, goddamn Leon Rhymes, little piece of shit.
Which, by the way, it was actually for some ungodly reason nominated as the best original song.
And the worst.
For some reason,
year.
are we forgetting about Steve Tyler? Armageddon.
You notice that about half the Oscar nominees are also Razzie nominees, because the Razzies, they know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they do.
Well, they ended up losing.
Good way to jerk off, Hollywood, by the way. All your shit sucks.
Well, they were apparently also nominated for Best Sound with the Oscars, but they lost both to Titanic. And they even lost the Razzie, too, though.
So. Young folks at home who weren't there, in the 1990s, before 1997, there was no such thing as a $100 million movie.
No.
Yeah.
They had that atrocity had not yet been committed. And these days you're like, 100 million, that's like a small budget. Yeah, that's like an indie film. It's got to cost like at least $250 million.
Yeah, back then that was like Arnold Schwarzenegger money.
Yeah. I think before then, like one of the most expensive movies ever made was Rambo 3, and I don't think that was more than 60 million.
True.
Yeah.
And Con Air was 75, same as The Rock.
And gross 224 million.
Yeah, so they did okay for themselves, They basically tripled their money.
Yeah.
Dickwads.
Yeah.
So, do you guys want to summarize the movie for those who don't watch it?
You're clearly a fan. Why don't you break it down?
As you said that, I literally had a 1,000-yard stare out my window just because I can hear in the background you're watching this movie and it is in my head. Okay, let me just take a stab in the dark and tell me if I'm right or not. So, not yet Castor Troy, Nick Cage, comes out from his military business. He's dancing with his wife, and they're in a regular American redneck bar. He gets in a fight with attempted rapist trying to bang his wife, and then he ends up breaking the guy's nose because he is a lethal weapon trained by the
He's
Army.
an Army Ranger.
That's right.
Army Ranger.
He gets to go off to prison and leads a very...
wait. I mean, you should say, he didn't just break his nose. He broke his nose.
Yeah,
and,
he jammed it into his head, into his head movies.
Killed him by shoving the nose into his
the
brain.
Alabama goodbye.
Yeah, I kind of like to look at it as he just put him into an eternal slumber. But yeah, he did that, and the judge
released him.
Yeah, the judge is like, I saw what you did to that boy. He's like, that ain't right. So he's like, I'm sending you off to prison. And it's like, it's going to be a fun prison, though, because you're going to make friends with people, and you're going to get to, read and stuff. And it's going to be the best place ever, where guards are your best friend, and everyone loves you. So,
and you don't even have to join a gang.
No, you don't even have to at all.
It's totally optional in prison, didn't you know?
Yeah.
Or get gang raped in the showers.
So he gets put on a plane because he gets to go free, and he's going home to see his wife and his daughter, who he never got to see born, and all this wonderfulness.
And she's going to be Miss Alabama.
That's right, because why the hell not? So as he goes onto the plane, a whole bunch of other criminals are on there, including not Kevin Spacey. And it's a whole bunch of fun characters. We have a guy that has roses on his arm because he loves women so much he just has to force it on them. We have a John Leguizamo drag person, which is fun. And we also
He is Puerto Rican, but he's not Don't put
I'm
them all
not-
in one group, man.
No, I'm just saying Leguizamo would have been fun in this.
We're face off already. Either
Yeah,
that
because
or,
it's better
or
than
mango.
the fucking movie. So they all get on.
mango.
They get on this plane. Shenanigans ensue, and suddenly the cons have taken over what a guard affectionately called Con Air. So they're trying to escape, and Nick Cage is like, "Not on my flight, because I got Jesus." And he decides
This ain't happening.
Yeah, he decides he's got to risk everything to save his daughter's little bun. And during all this shit, John Cusack shows up because why the hell not? He starts bitch fighting with an asshole who's really all about, I want to shoot this plane down because I don't care about human life and redemption.
He's really upset because he's away from Transporter Room 3.
Yeah,
And
he
would
is.
would you call that character a meanie? A calm meanie?
Oh, fuck my life.
He's from Dublin. I don't know if you knew that.
I need a drink. I mean, let's...
I'm on
His name's
painkillers.
Chief O'Brien.
You know what I am? I'm going to combine some Oxycontin
God damn it.
and some
I
rum.
like to share some meanie moments with you all here at home.
But wait,
this is
there's
what-
more.
what-
The only highlight
wait,
of this
there's
film is that we have Steve Buscemi, and that was really
Yay.
we
fun.
certainly do.
Because he kind of came off as a Hannibal Lecter-esque character, which was the joke, because they make him out to be this glorified, horrific human being who just likes to spout silly, fun things, like wearing a girl's head on his head when he was
Yes.
driving around in a car. And
He's goofy.
yeah, he is
He was
super
talking
goofy.
about wearing a girl's head as a hat driving through 2 states, and I was thinking, I want to see that fucking movie. Where's that movie?
Would have been great. We
You
could have
know,
had that in The Rock
according
too.
to Cinescape at that time, there were talks of having a spin-off movie with his character,
Oh, that's the movie we deserve.
but they didn't do it. Just like they didn't do the Mini-Me movie.
Well,
Wait,
I guess
they were going to do a Mini-Me movie?
Yeah, they were talking about that too at the time. Anytime any movie made any money and there was a character, people were like, "Oh, that's cute." They're like, "Oh my god, they need their own movie."
Oh, that's right.
Robert
Yeah,
Downey Jr. and
God.
Gothica, get back here.
Oh.
Everybody's pining for a movie about you. I
Oh,
was kind of in the background. I was
fuck.
really strung out, and I couldn't remember my lines. It's like, movie, brilliant.
Apparently, Simon West also said that he would only do a sequel if it was just basically insane, like if it was set in space, if they resurrected the
And, you know,
cons.
tasteful, low light, you know, kind of side boob kind of thing.
Tasteful nudes. But I'm
What
sorry.
he wound up doing was The General's Daughter with Travolta, which had some problems, but I thought it was much better. And then
What
the
just happened
first
there, Donnie?
Lara Croft Tomb Raider movie. And Lara Croft Tomb Raider #1, it is not a good movie, but it is sure as fuck not Lara Croft Tomb Raider 2, The Cradle of Life.
True.
Cradle of Filth.
Cradle
Yeah.
of Life.
And then he did Expendables 2 and that remake of The Mechanic and that remake of When Stranger Calls.
So
I was surprised to find he was still working.
yeah. So cons take over a flight. They try to escape. Nick Cage keeps saying, "I'm gonna fight you because I'm a good guy." Then everything goes to shit. They land in Las Vegas. He gives a man's bloody smeared bunny to his daughter. Like, that's not going to traumatize her
After
or
he
anything.
fished it out of a storm drain.
After he fished it out of a hooker storm drain. And the only person left alive that we're going to assume went on another killing spree is Steve Buscemi. The end.
Yeah. The Leanne Rhymes theme song's coming up again as Cage is hugging his family, and it's fading out. And it's like, never mind that. Look who's at the blackjack tables. It's Steve Buscemi.
Kind of like
serial killer guy.
I want to say maybe 20 years ago or maybe 15 years ago when we were firing bottle rockets at our Vietnam veteran uncle. It reminded me of how when you hear noises, it triggers certain memories. Every time I hear someone mention Con Air, I hear Leanne Rhymes' fucking voice in my head, and that goddamn song start. And the
I've
reason
seen the movie like 8 times in a row now. Me too.
now, see, that's just it. It's like back in the 90s when this came out, it's like everyone was going apeshit over things like this, The Rock, and Armageddon. And
Yeah.
people had to see it.
Armageddon.
I
And for
liked
some
it.
reason, those movies had to have the wuss
Yeah.
song every time.
Yeah,
there
it's
had
like-
to be the wussy song.
I liked it. It was fine. But the thing that killed this for me, and it will always haunt my goddamn dreams, is our fucking cousin Mike. This son of a bitch.
I ruined this one too.
This son of a bitch, aside being like a supreme Jesus freak back in the day, which, hey, if that's your deal, that's fine.
Monica
He
Potter
would
is a
go
perfect
on
beauty.
and on and on about how people always thought he was Nick Cage because he said he looked like Nick Cage. He was happy about this, that he looked like a double for Nick Cage. And him becoming
What a
popular
burden that
because of these
must be.
action films, he felt that was like his ticket to Puss Town. So he took me to see this several times. When it came out on VHS, we watched it hundreds of times.
Did
and
he linger
would
in the
have
lobby
to
of the
fucking
theater
quote
and
it
then
to-
at the video store and hoping the chicks would just sort of come around and be like, huh? What do you think about my film? I might
Not
as
like
well
we
be
get off
Nicolas
topic
Cage."
or anything when we do this, but the man,
Oh,
every
yeah.
time he saw a mirror, would have to stop and just like eye fuck himself. He could not
Yeah.
look at himself and pose when he passed a mirror. He had to. It was like he had to do this.
I had some dreams that were clouds in my coffee. Clouds in my coffee.
I wonder, will I dream?
Back to the movie. Donnie, you're leaving out the best part.
The fact that there's a car flying behind a airplane at one point.
On any other day, that might seem strange. My Alabama accent is
Oh,
well
is it when he
researched
gets
and
when he
accurate,
like
no
tells
doubt.
his dying friend Bubba Shrimp that I'm going to show you God does exist, and he gets shot by a bullet and it doesn't even phase him because the power of Christ compelled pain to go away?
No, I'm talking, of course, about the part where they
Mackenzie Williamson
push
really
a
was
dead
Bubba.
Dave Chappelle out.
Yeah,
Off
okay.
of the plane.
Now, the last time I saw this movie, it was the fucking 90s. And then later on in the 2000s came this talented comic named Dave Chappelle. And I never connected the two because Dave Chappelle was funny and Con Air is Con Air.
I know.
Yes.
And
Then I was watching this movie and it's like, oh shit. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh my God. Dave Chappelle's on the. Oh no. That's his movie corpse later on with that ridiculous smile on in that really gross scene.
Apparently, he improvised most of his own lines.
You know, I
probably
could have
needed
said,
to.
yeah, I noticed that, especially with calling his friend Chief and telling him he was sorry for setting him on fire.
I'm a fish a condom full of gasoline out of my stomach and just set you on fire a little bit right now.
A little bit.
Sounded like he was singing YMCA.
We love you, Dave Chappelle, wherever you
We
are.
do.
Dave Chappelle, we don't associate you with this movie, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised to see him in here because I just totally forgot that he was in this.
And Danny Trejo as rapist.
Yes, the
And,
happy
you
racist.
know,
Rapist.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys heard about this, but Danny Trejo is actually a real fucking hero.
Yes.
He he literally
Yeah,
saved
he was in that
a-
movie Badass.
Well, yeah, that, and he literally saved a baby from like I think it's an overturned car, just like I
Yeah.
think like a week ago.
Yeah,
Hey, good
'cause
job.
Machete
All right.
saves babies.
It's true, but yeah, so they
You guys saw Badass though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I really
Of
like the
course.
part where it just turns into the scene from Red Heat. I mean, Danny's good at it too, but
So of course, like Cage wrote a message for John Cusack's character on Dave Chappelle's character's shirt,
yeah,
pinball.
Sharpie saved the day in that scene.
Yeah.
But you know what was like weird was like I mean he pushes him off the plane and I'm thinking like okay but he's just gonna be fucking eviscerated right when
Well, in
when
real time, yeah.
Man, if this was a trauma movie, you'd see him hit the pavement and turn into a puddle.
yeah pretty much
Green
I was-
foam and shit coming out his ass.
But he would probably like make that shitting noise before
There's
the
a
like
Kabuki
sharp
San.
noise.
gross out
Sanjo.
scene in it,
Sanjo.
so the body falling from the scene is actually not the disgusting part.
No.
It's like a
Wait.
bird shits on your windshield and you're gonna wipe it up with the tissue. What the
Oh,
fuck
I
do you think your
know.
wiper fluid's for? You moron?
Exactly. You fucking
You are
savage.
disgusting. Wiper fluid, just gush that shit.
That totally took me out of the movie.
That's that. Yeah. Ew.
You know,
Ew.
if they missed
Gross.
a perfect opportunity just to make a really fun inside joke, if instead of saying where they were going on the shirt, he just put in there, "Now I have a gun too." Ha ha ha. Oh.
What's it mean? I don't know.
That was a funny joke.
But really, I gotta go
I'm
back
going to show you humor
So,
exists.
Early in the movie, maladjusted Cage gets out of the Army Rangers, and, you know, he's at that frat party and is a little shy, and they tell him he can get laid. But then when he goes upstairs, he's presented with a corpse, and he flips out. And years later, he pops up on this plane full of unsuspecting cons.
Yeah.
Because this was Terror Plane.
That's right. Oh, this was Night Plane of Terror. That's right.
You want to hear about fucking terror? The shot there's a scene in this movie where they're introducing all the cons as they're getting on board the plane. It's like, that's Cyrus the Virus, and that's Ving Rhames, and he's a black militant. And then who's that guy getting out of the bus? And Cage is whipping out around his long, luxurious hair, and he's closing his eyes and breathing the sweet air of freedom. And he's like, "Oh, Garnier Fructis."
Yeah, maybe it's Maybelline.
Right? And they're
A
like,
truly
"Oh,
orgasmic experience.
That there's Poe Cameron Poe. He ain't nobody. He's just an Army Ranger who got himself into a bar fight. It could have happened to any old body." It's like, so why is he slow motion whipping his hair around? What the hell just happened?
It's just you can't break some habits you got in prison. Like, man, that man has luxurious hair.
They didn't show the part in the shower earlier that day where he was shampooing, going, yes.
Yeah. See, that's what they don't show you in prison movies because people aren't really ready for it. Prisoners love soft hair. Like, it is a fascination.
yeah.
They will
Yeah.
love you if you have soft hair.
Just long, lovely plates of it.
Yeah, a lot of cosmetologists come out of prison.
Speaking of
Yeah.
luxurious hair, everybody, Colm Meaney was in Under Siege in 1992 with Steven Seagal.
Oh, God.
He was the one who had to tell Seagal's character that he was, quote, incredible.
Yeah.
You should have been
reminds
cooking
me-
for us.
People have to watch your Steven Seagal movie on YouTube.
Oh yeah, no. If you get onto my YouTube under AA Smith, you could see my cartoon Gordon Jamie 3000, in which my characters take on Steven Seagal on a shopping mall.
Ooh.
It's awesome. And for those of you who never want to watch Con Air, that
Yeah. Make the
one
life
of the
choice.
most popular memes ever, gifs, is Cage coming off the bus and letting the wind whip through his hair in that scene. So you've seen that, and that's enough. But so
In that scene, Cage should have had a shirt on that said, "Bitches don't know about my dick."
ask me about my dick.
Jesus is my wingman.
So when he finds out that he's going to be paroled and he's going to meet his daughter for the first time, he
Alabama.
I'm
going
home, son.
he buys a stuffed bunny.
From the prison store.
And yeah, I'm thinking for
It's
the
best
commissary.
gift ever. It's even better than a pack of Pall Malls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a Mr. Goodbar.
Or top ramen. But anyway, I guess like the whole thing is like the I think the most famous line from the movie is "Put the bunny back in the box." And apparently the bunny was his idea, as was the idea to make him a Southerner. And just
great idea.
In the deep
Yeah.
south.
Yeah. They went with Alabama. So this is a sequel to Forrest Gump.
Well, and apparently the producers didn't want him to be a Southerner. They weren't crazy about that idea at first.
That's sort of like every like lame acting improv thing ever. By the way,
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
just throws on a Southern accent, you know,
But now
or
I'm
or
from the
either
South.
that or a really really fake British one.
You know, I really would have loved seeing Jean-Claude Van Damme pull on a southern accent in this.
I would have paid to see that.
Man,
Yes.
we should have watched that Desert Heat thing again.
You know what? We could still kickstart our version of this.
Van Damme, get at us.
In the plane there, there's one of the cons, one of the psychopath cons there. It is kind of like a stretched out Kenny Loggins, the Billy Bedlam character. That's Nick Chinland. He was in Lethal Weapon 3 as Hatchet. Mm-hmm. He was in The Chronicles of Riddick as Toombs, and he was in Training Day as Tim.
Oh shit! I forgot Training Day.
Oh yeah, Nick Chinland, everybody.
When he was talking about this movie, Cage said, quote, "I was kind of creating a character that was like the Uber version of myself if I was a Southern badass."
Oh, god damn it.
Oh. That's why he has to fight a bunch of guys in a muddy parking lot in the pouring rain in front of a freaking oil refinery complete with belching flamethrowers.
Yeah. Well, he based him off of a character that he wanted to be as a kid, so, I mean...
Oh, that was Nicolas Rage.
Yeah. So, I mean, what kid doesn't want to be fighting off guys in a near an oil
sounds of fucking silence. This is a lot like The Rock also in that Cage isn't really given too much to do because he has to share space with way too many characters.
No shit.
Including Mrs. Cage, Mrs. Cameron Poe, Monica Potter. Mm-hmm. She was in Saw, and she was in Along Came a Spider with Morgan Freeman. Her character's name was Jezzy, except it doesn't always sound like Jezzy when people are saying it. And before she was in this, she was hardly in anything before she was in this, but before she was in this, she was in the Damon Wayans Adam Sandler movie in 1996, Bulletproof, in which she played Biker's Woman.
Wow.
Biker's Woman, ladies and gentlemen.
Disneyland. Yes, and now, well, not now, but recently she was in Parenthood.
Oh. So she's still kind of getting around, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, despite her best efforts.
And sadly, and hey, I like her, but sadly, there was another chance for Cage to do another movie with Mike Figgis, but Figgis! But the character was a married man who was cheating on his wife, and he said, quote, "I was not in a place in my world at that time right after I'd gotten married where oh my god, why am I doing this?
Figgis!
Because of pain pills.
Cut a motherfucker right up.
Figgis! Anyway, he said, after I'd gotten married where I wanted to play a man who was cheating on his wife, it just wasn't somewhere I wanted to go. I just didn't want to go there.
Was that one night stand that he was offered?
I don't know. He never said
that's
specifically,
what Figgis followed up.
It sounds like it.
Las Vegas with that one had Wesley Snipes. He was in that one.
Greetings and salutations, my fellow chuds. I really do hope that you love listening to Cage's Kiss. Did you know that you can actually get paid just for listening to us? I know it sounds insane, but it's for real. We just discovered this free new app called Podcoin, and it literally pays you to listen to podcasts. So here's how it works. You listen to podcasts, and you earn Podcoin while you listen. Then you turn that Podcoin in for gift cards at places like Amazon or Starbucks, or you can even use it on charity. Personally, I like to feed the puppies and the kitties. The more you listen, the more you earn. So here's what you do. Download the app right now on iPhone or on Android, and I have a special code for you. Simply use our code CAGESKISS, all one word, that's CAGESKISS, and you'll get 300 Podcoin just for signing up. And if you listen to us enough on there, you can get a cappuccino at Starbucks or an Amazon gift card on us. So go ahead and go listen to this podcast or virtually any other podcast. Although, why would you do that? You know we're the only ones for you, baby. On Podcoin, and sign up with the code CAGESKISS, CAGESKISS.
Kiss me.
And yes, he was married to Arquette. Hello.
Oh, yep.
I'm
Catch a
still
bottle
here.
herself. Yeah.
But, so he did get, he was tickled that he finally got to star in a movie with John Malkovich, but that it was a silly, stupid fucking action movie.
Yeah, so what Malkovich didn't appreciate is that they were rewriting constantly, and so he's like, how am I supposed to assemble a performance? What the fuck? You just give me bullshit lines every day that had nothing to do with one another.
Yeah, you could kind of tell that.
Yeah.
Well, the bullshit they have coming out of his mouth, you know, it's like
Well,
the next wings you are going to see are the flies buzzing over your rotting corpse.
yes.
Not that you would see that.
And, like, his character kept changing, and he was supposed to be a genius, but he would say shit like that. And I don't know.
Yeah, no,
But-
and Cage. Well, there's another thing. This is the box episode type movie where Cage is like the good guy working among the bad guys, trying to convince them that he's like one of them. And like so, Cage like keeps like coming up with lame duck excuses and easily bamboozling these guys who have this master plan, and they have external funding from like drug dealers and shit.
Yeah.
And and fucking Malkovich's character has a cubbyhole in his cell with like fake bricks in it, and like all these detailed schematics of the plane, and an exploding box of chocolates that a prison guard kills himself with.
Oh, yeah.
That was where the movie lost me pretty early on when I saw it back then, and I'm like, so the CGI door shoots down the hall, and John Cusack looks up comically about a piece of smoking rubble that's now embedded in the wall. And he's somehow not deaf from this explosion having gone off in this compact space. And then there's Cusack and Colm Meaney the whole movie just sort of like bitching at each other, and like it has what I always felt to be like really artificial swearing.
Oh yeah.
Like none of it sounds organic. You know, nobody's like fudge off, you fuck. You know.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah.
Nobody's blowing anything out of their wazoo.
Wazoo. Well, when he was talking about working with John Malkovich, he said, quote, "I had to laugh at one moment because here's John Malkovich, one of the most revered actors of stage and film for the last 20 years, and I finally get to work with him, and what we are doing is standing on top of a fire truck, and he's coming at me with an axe, and I'm hitting him with a pole. I thought, I guess we're not doing Steinbeck or Eugene O'Neill. We're going to be kids again, aren't we?"
Whee! Padoom, you are dead. No, you are dead.
And that whole scene made me think of UHF with the, "Who wants a drink from the fire hose?"
Yeah, and there's somehow in this endless tunnel, which is in quote unquote Las Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah, that whole bit at the end.
Just
And,
fuck the end.
Yeah, that was before I saw this. I actually read a review of it, which is not a thing I did that often back then. But I read the Cinescape review of this, and it's like, so Cage the whole time just wanted to get reunited with his wife and daughter and see his family, and it was all about that. But oh wait, no, Cyrus is rushing off. I'm going to rush off too. Whee!
Yes,
Cyrus. Does that gun work, John Cusack? Then shoot that piece of shit.
And why did they bring his wife and daughter in on a fucking helicopter to like the scene where a bunch of convicts who were armed just crash landed?
Cameron Poe and Cyrus are about to crash into the strip and kill everybody. Quick, let's endanger their wife and daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
We want you to
like,
see his
fuck?
body.
We want you to
see
watch
guts
him
just
die.
streaming out like a ticker tape parade.
Well, and apparently in that scene, the plane crashes into a casino, and they use the sands, which was planning to be
demolition.
Yeah, and so they were able to convince them, probably with lots of money, to hold off for 2 weeks so they can destroy it with a plane.
Just like in Lethal Weapon 3.
Yeah.
Yay!
And this is almost as good as Lethal Weapon 3.
Almost.
Yeah. So, Colm Meaney, by the way, sends a DEA agent on the plane with the cons because this shit wasn't overcomplicated enough.
And while he was doing that, I was thinking, like, wait, he's forgetting to put his red shirt on.
and the guy gets killed, and Cage finds out that he's got a tape recorder on him because they were trying to get a confession out of somebody. And it's not just any tape recorder. This isn't the mini tape recorder from Kiss of Death. They got this big fucking reel-to-reel tape recorder in there, and I'm like, wow, they got the tape machine from Clute with Donald Sutherland. Where'd they dig that up? And then later, Cage puts it on the guard who they're sending out as one of the cons when they land in Carson City. And then this fucking prison guard who kind of looks like Fat Treat Williams beats on him and then finds the recorder.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of lookalikes, by the way, the guy early on who's harassing Cage's wife looks just like one of the extraneous Baldwins, the ones you don't pay to see movies for.
Yes. It's funny because in my notes I love the asshole in the bar in the beginning. He's like Adrian, an asshole for no reason.
Oh yeah, I go to bars all the time. It's like, that's your wife? Sure would like to see her crumpled up next to my bed. Wouldn't mind keeping her in my outhouse. To tell you what, oh man, if she ain't a pig in the poke. This here's Alabama. Alabama.
Oh, and his accent was just so fucking beautiful. I thought it was like
Forever.
It was a good mix between H.I. McDonough and Johnny from Xandali.
Yeah.
I think he should have kept it more H.I. McDonough, a little more non-specific, you know.
That would have been more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, so this long-haired douchewad from the South who does push-ups standing on his head. This is our hero.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed the character Sally Can't Dance, who was played by Renoli Santiago. I hope I'm saying that right.
Beautifully played.
Yeah, I thought it was I like it was actually one of my favorite characters, and I thought it was funny that he was called Sally Can't Dance because
men in uniform.
Okay. At a really, really early age, he earned a full dance scholarship to the Ballet Hispanico, and as you do. And I just really enjoyed. I actually laughed out loud on this scene, and I kept rewatching this scene where Cage slapped him. Yes, that was it. Like Renoli just like totally sold it with the.
It's a reminder that you could have been watching Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Oh yeah.
Yes. With Terrence Stamp, one of my choices for Face Off last week.
That's the only bang you're going to get, darling.
But yes, I feel like the movie's okay if you just if you put away all
hammered.
logic.
Got to be a little hammered.
And
The
if you're
movie's
fucking hammered,
okay,
yeah.
makes sense on meth.
Yeah.
I think I still like it better than The Rock, but that's really not saying much.
No, maybe this was just like a
Yeah.
personal love letter or masturbation letter because sexting wasn't a thing back then yet between the director and Michael Bay. Like, he knew how to push his buttons. He's like, fuck yeah.
It's so fucking bitching.
They're like, why didn't you blow up Las Vegas? Because I knew you wanted me to. Oh.
Hey, while they were at it, why didn't they buzz a picnic and take Grandpa's hat off and knock over the Hoover Dam? Just all kinds of shit. Did you guys ever see Turbulence with Ray Liotta?
Yes.
Just make it like that.
Oh, God.
The world needs more Ray Liotta.
It sure does.
He was great in Thinner.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. He wasn't in that.
For all I know.
I gotta watch that now.
The thing about Ray Liotta is he's got the whole world in his hand.
That's right.
Well, I think one thing I think that saves this movie is just the fucking cast. I mean,
there is an epic. We probably didn't even name them all.
No, this was not Avengers era where you get all these stars together and see what happens.
Mm.
Yeah.
Although some of these people weren't actually stars at the time. Isn't this one of Danny Trejo's first? movies?
No. That was American Me was his first.
Oh.
Yeah, but he
Was
had
that
been
the
in a
one
few
by
films.
Edward James Olmos?
Yes, he was also before that. He did American Me. There was also Blood In, Blood Out. And there's a couple of
yes.
Yeah.
That's also excluding the films he did elsewhere as well.
Wasn't Ving Rhames also in Blood In, Blood Out?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, shit.
I mean, it's a 3-hour movie. There's room for plenty of people.
Yeah, it's pretty damn epic.
Oh, shit. And he was also in Maniac Cop 2.
Yeah.
You're goddamn right! But every movie should have Edward James Olmos.
It should.
They really
to my face
should.
up like this again, detective.
And Death Wish 4, the Crackdown. Can we just watch that? Can we go back in time and watch the Crackdown Death Wish 4
I told you
instead
I'd
of...
kill her! I had to... It's like Golden Globus is like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, we were going too serious with those other ones. Okay.
This was supposed to be fun.
Too bad about Death Wish 5.
Yeah.
And that Bruce Willis Death Wish.
Yeah. Let's just skip Bruce Willis.
Bruce
Demi
Willis,
Moore,
by the
we're
way,
over him.
was offered the role of Cyrus the Virus, but I can only assume he was too busy performing at the House of Blues.
Oh, God.
Buy my shit. Come on.
Would you buy him as a genius type? I don't know about
You
that.
think I'm fucking stupid, Hans?
Bruce Willis, come at us.
You know where we're at.
I think Bruce Willis's response would be, "What's a podcast?"
Once I find your podcast, I'll go find you.
Do a
I'll get
podcast.
you.
Have some fun. Have some laughs.
Let it snow.
I shot a kid. Now that's what we're talking
Part when
about.
Baby O tells Cage he shot a kid.
I feel like that should just be our sign-off now.
Like, no, I'm going to show you there is a God. No, wait, you ain't heard the best part. I shot a kid.
I need my insulin shot, and I shot a kid.
Now I'm feeling a little conflicted.
Oh, God.
Oh, you want your dessert, Zandalee? You know, isn't it right after that, Cage just sort of takes the plane with no effort whatsoever?
Oh, yeah.
At all.
After having done
And
virtually nothing for 90 minutes.
And the Khan who had been flying the plane Swamp Thing at one point calls him Big Daddy, which is his character's name from Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Which I got a little kick out of.
Oh, you know, we used to answer for a series of accounts, and this lead security guy at night would call any male who answered Big Daddy.
Wow.
My coworker Martin really did not appreciate it. He was a little disturbed. Like,
He didn't want to be
Daddy?
Big Daddy? Big Daddy.
That just makes me think of the last scene from Jungle Fever, also with the Wesley Snipes.
The Snipes. So, do you guys feel like you're ready for a little bit of face?
Yeah.
Oh dear
Maybe.
God. Well, yeah. There's always, there's always the version of it where you get the Jean-Claude Van Damme. You can have the same
Yeah.
hair.
Mhm.
It's fine. You know, just going around with a wife beater, being Van Damme, being in prison. You know, maybe Patrick Kilpatrick as one of the thugs. You know. Oh, and then you can cast Ron Silver as the Colin Meaney character.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, it's working out.
Well, you know that I want to see Tim Thomerson, but
Oh, yeah.
I would say that
Oh
for
yeah,
Cameron...
a full moon Con Air shot in Eastern
Yes.
Europe. The plane's barely not in motion.
Exactly.
This is going to be turbulence all over again.
I am being Cyrus Virus. I am take over plane. And genius brain will show all of you. Also, your wife, girlfriend, they die later, I think, maybe. By golly.
Alternately, I would say for the character of Cameron Poe, Patrick Swayze.
Oh,
Yeah, that could work.
Hey, if this
I
was
fucking
a
love that.
reunion of the Sways and Keanu Reeves, oh my God, this
Whoa.
would be animated so much.
Oh, yes.
Then that would have been just like Face Off, having Travolta and Nick Cage side by side.
Take his face off.
As Cyrus, I would say Patrick Stewart or Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
And okay, let me just say I love John Cusack with all of my tiny little shriveled up heart.
I do, which is why I forgive him this and all those god-awful romantic movies he makes.
Exactly. But if I had to replace him, I would replace him with Demi Moore because fuck you, Bruce Willis.
Oh, Lord. Well, I would keep the cast exactly the same and only replace 2 actors.
Exactly.
Yeah, now this is going to be kind of fun. I like this idea at least. I'm not going to put Jean-Claude in there, even though it'd be fun seeing him as Nick Cage as part in this. I really, really would have liked that. But instead, I want Tommy Wiseau playing him, and as Cyrus, Billy Crystal. And that would have made it so much better. Just have all these big action stars all around them. Yeah. It would have been great. I mean, fucking Billy Crystal would have made this amazing. I mean, you could probably get rid of John Cusack and put in Robin Williams back then. I mean, it still could have been the same thing.
You gotta get a part in there for Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes, then now you get where we're going with this shit.
And now we're raising money.
Yeah, yes, exactly. She could have been the prison guard that almost got raped by Danny Trejo lovingly. So it's like, there we go. We have the whole cast right there. And it would have led into comic relief. It would have been amazing.
He had a line. He said, if they only knew, I'd be Johnny 600. Yeah, he's known as Johnny 23. I assume for the 23 convictions, and he has 23 hearts tattooed on his arm.
Yeah.
For each woman.
So does he only tattoo when he gets convicted, or does he just tattoo anytime he
Well,
rapes?
yeah, I was kind of, every time I've watched this unwillingly, I've always thought about that in my head. It's like, where's the prison guard that says, are you confessing to more crimes? And then immediately going for a retrial.
Yeah. It's well, you know, the prison.
Once
the prison
again,
guard, there's a walking, talking reason to rehabilitate.
Now, okay.
Once again, you can't watch this with logic.
I'm sorry, you just hit something I forgot I got to add to my recasting. As the main guard on the plane, put in the dude who played Ranger Bob, and that would have been fucking amazing. Just have him be the exact same character.
Gentlemen, with the socks 2 different heights.
Yeah.
You notice that just like The Rock too, somebody welcomes you to the title.
Yes. Like, they said the name of the thing.
Welcome to Con Air. Welcome to the jungle. You're gonna die.
Are you getting it? Armageddon it.
Really getting it?
How do I live?
Fuck you.
So the musical score for Con Air was started by Mark Mancia, but they're like, Mark Mancia, come score Speed 2 Cruise Control, and he's like, oh shit, I'm out.
Oh god.
So it had to be completed by Trevor Rabin, the guitarist for Yes.
Wow.
Who went on to score other Bruckheimer movies like Armageddon. Unfortunately,
That's
It's all
unfortunate.
living.
he got paid.
Yeah. Well, yes.
But Leanne Rimes, that song would never stop playing back then either. And my mom loved that song. Yeah. She's like, "Oh, Leanne Rimes is good." It's like, it's bullshit. It sucks. It sucks a lot. It sucks shit. It sucks tons of shit.
It was
right
everywhere.
Same thing with Close. I don't want to miss a thing.
Fuck. I don't want to miss a thing. I like Aerosmith, at least, up until that point. Mm-hmm. It's like they had their first #1 hit with a bullshit song that they did not even write for a goddamn Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
It's like fucking bullshit.
I agree. Let's go burn shit.
Let's burn some goddamn shit.
Why are we burning shit right now?
Because we didn't start the fire.
Well, you didn't.
Well, if that's moving up, then Mama, I'm moving out. So there were valuable lessons in this movie, like if a little kid sings a song to a psychopath, they'll be instantly cured.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
I was during that scene, by the way, as he's walking away in slow motion, and we're supposed to think the little girl was dead. I'm like, come on, freeze frame, freeze frame right here, just end the movie. But like, oh god. Cage is just like running his hands through bloody entrails.
That's the movie we deserve.
They killed her. Now they're gonna kill me. Oh my
god! and then fucking Malkovich walks up and says, "Garbage day."
Garbage day. Help support our Patreon so we can write a script.
We have ideas.
It'll contain these and many other chestnuts.
We're joking. We'll just buy booze.
Shit don't buy itself.
We're going
Damn
to
it,
Harry
Donnie.
Knowles the shit out of this.
Where do we go to start sex harassing? How do you get on that?
I'll show you this new way. So is there wisdom to gain from
I gotta
this?
go, Knowles.
I found some wisdom in all this shit.
What's your wisdom, man?
Don't treat women like that.
Oh.
How about you guys?
That's right up there with the Shatner wisdom. I have had enough of you.
And these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Monkeys fighting snakes off this Monday to Friday plane.
Well,
Donnie, were you able to find any sort of wisdom?
don't always trust prisoners to help you break out of prison, especially when they're in a cartel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you find, if you're digging through a prison cell and what you believe to be is an entire break of cocaine, don't tell nobody. Just go sell that shit.
Right.
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
That was so much cocaine.
And speaking of which, you can go to our Patreon page and
Undercover baby.
Order the cheese pizza with extra anchovy. We know what you're talking about.
had to be a big shot, didn't you? So I guess this is the time where I say please listen, follow, rate, and review Cage's Kiss on Apple Podcasts,
Did you say
Stitcher,
rape?
Spotify.
Are you limit 25?
Well, that's the goal. She's working her way up to it.
Please send your money so I can podcast without my brother. Help
Send
support
us
me.
irresponsible amounts of money. You don't know what you're going to do with that money. You don't know that you're going to save it. I hear that those interest rates are actually pretty low, so you might as well just give it to us. We all want to not work anymore. I hate my job.
Yeah.
Send us just a bundle of damn money.
It's a limit.
And I may be sober this time, but I reiterate, we'll watch your shit.
Yes.
In fact,
If you have
I
any
watched
shit
that
for us
other
to
thing
watch,
by the
send it.
makers of Super Poop Fighter 2 Turbo.
Oh.
Yeah. Linda, you watched that too. Tell me.
Yes,
tell me
that
I
was
didn't just
good.
Dream about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a tequila fueled dream. It was good.
Wait,
It was
hold
good.
on. We're actually recording. I need to find out what that was called.
Continue our plugs before I start talking about Three Ninjas Kickback.
God damn it!
Oh, hi,
Were we
Mega
making that one
Mountain.
too?
And they knuckle up.
The video is
Yeah. Critical Coffee Break Friendship Extended Cut.
it's good.
Wow.
And in this one, you see the whole fight.
Yes. Yeah. So check it out. And I suppose I should say check us out on YouTube as well. And Adrian, do you have any plugs?
Y'all need to come by my DeviantArt. That there is at Leo the Fox. That's all one word in lowercase. You can see me put up them pictures. They got them happy trees. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And if you drop by
Them
my
nice
YouTube,
taters.
that there's under A.A. Smith on the YouTube. You can find my Glurt and Jamie cartoons and me drawing them pretty pictures. In fact, I drew me a happy tree just recently. Y'all should drop by.
Yeah.
They all is some pretty pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And
Give me some of that potted meat.
my ass is a registered weapon as the boy who blew on RedTube. And I'm also Unreal Goals on Twitter. And I think that's all I got to offer to you. Yeah.
Not enough Cage in this Cage movie. God damn it! He doesn't spaz out at all.
If he had faced off in this one, maybe it would have been something.
Something, God damn it, Cage! You know
Like,
what are you sleepwalking?
okay,
Just because you're doing that accent doesn't mean you can't go.
Yeah.
Party!
Now there you go. It's like if he had been, instead of a God-fearing man, if he had just been fucking shit your pants crazy Cage from the start, like an anti-hero criminal, this would have been so much more awesome.
Oh yeah, no, that would have.
I mean, you could have had fucking Snake Plissken on a plane. It would have been great.
Exactly. And I should say the video we were talking about earlier is from Catching Cinema.
Catching Cinema.
So yeah, y'all should check it out. And they're on the Twitters on @Catching Cinema. And remember, you can find Cage's Kiss on Facebook and on Twitter at Cage's Kiss.
That wasn't Catching Up on Cinema?
It's Catching Up on Cinema, yeah.
Oh,
but
okay, sorry.
Their handle is at Catching Cinema.
At Catching Cinema, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can visit our website. Yeah, sorry. You can visit our website at cageskiss.com, and you can write to us at cageskiss@gmail.com. And we will be seeing you next week with Face Off.
Oh, hell yeah, Face Off!
'Cause it's thunder in your heart. Every move is like lightning. But the shadows in the dark and you're too weak to break it.
God damn it. Gag and bag.
Looking for revenge.
Gag and bag this Nazi muffin.
Oh yeah, no, they bagged him and tagged him and they spitted and shitted him and they shake and bake. They did all that fucking shit. Let's turn him burn.
Because he shot a kid.
I shot a kid.
He got the whole world up his ass. He's got the whole wide world up his ass. He's got the whole world.
Cage. Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please.